Okay guys, I want to talk about this. Mark Cuban said, do not use credit cards if you want to be rich. In fact, that's a crazy statement. Let's get into this in this video. Before I do, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It's free. Let's talk about Mark Cuban talking bad about credit cards. Okay, so Mark Cuban went on the Dave Ramsey show, and in that talk show, he literally said, do not use credit cards.
Cut up your credit cards. If you use a credit card, you don't want to be rich.
Yep,
I like that line. That's a good line.
That's my favorite line. I tell it to people all the time.
His reason for not using credit cards was the fact that they have high interest rates, and a lot of people cannot afford to pay the credit card down in full at the end of the month. Now, most of that is actually true, and if you cannot pay it off at the end of the month, you're going to get in trouble because these interest rates go as low as 16% and as high as 30% according to some credit card trackers out there. So 30% interest rate would just bury you. 16% is high enough. I mean, look, people can't even buy homes because the interest rate on mortgage is around 7%. So overall, 16% would kill you. Now, Mark Cuban said that he would prefer you rather use debit cards that don't have fees or interest rates. And debit cards is a great way to manage money. He went on and kind of explained in further detail with Dave Ramsey. However, I personally disagree. I think credit cards are essential, and a lot of experts in this article that I'm reading disagree as well. Credit cards are essential to building credit. Building credit is essential to getting loans. Mark Cuban goes on in this interview and says that instead of using credit cards, you should take out a personal loan. What the? Mark Cuban owns the Dallas Mavericks. You got to respect the guy, but he probably has a lot of money. He's a billionaire, obviously, and the Dallas Mavericks, I think, are worth over $2 billion. And overall, that's a crazy thing to say because how can you take out a personal loan to go on vacation or use your everyday spending? Personal loans are also tend to be personally guaranteed or backed, so it's hard to get a personal loan to just cover credit card needed fees if you're going to be paying them off at the end of the month. Yes, a personal loan may also impact your credit in a positive way when it's paid off or if it's paid and paid current. But credit cards is just such a foundation to building credit history, to getting you the better deal on that car with your credit score being in excellent condition. The best argument he should have made is saying the credit cards are essential to building a successful lifestyle. However, you cannot use a credit card to buy something you cannot afford. So anything that you buy with a credit card should be paid off within that 30-day mark, period. And that's my advice as well. If you check out some of my other credit card videos, you'll see that I always say, hey, the credit card has to be paid off at the end of the month. Do not fall into that trap of moving your credit card over from month to month, paying these crazy interest rates, late fees, late payment penalties, etc. It gets ridiculous. So another way to get out of it, I mentioned in previous videos, is to find a credit card that would allow you to carry over a balance with no interest rate up to say a year or 2 years. That gives you enough time to pay off your credit card debt. So if you're $5,000 in debt on one credit card and another credit card offers you to carry over that balance out there, and there are many, go ahead and carry over that balance onto this new credit card that you got. You have, let's say, a year, if those are the terms. Figure out a plan to pay off that $5,000 within that year, no matter what. So Mark Cuban then goes into even crazier mode.
Are you serious? Are you really that clueless?
And he says you should get the loans. I mean, again, getting back to personal loans and versus a credit card, it's not practical. Who carries money around or checks anymore to pay for things? It just doesn't make sense. Everybody is using credit cards. Yes, you could use a debit card and get a personal loan. I guess what he was trying to imply is if you're going to need money to buy something you can't afford, a personal loan with set payments is better than a credit card which carries a crazy interest rate. But don't buy anything. The rule of thumb is don't buy anything you can't afford. And that is probably the biggest takeaway from all of this. You have to have credit cards. Mark Cuban, in my opinion, is wrong, as brilliant as he is on Shark Tank with his Dallas Mavericks, which did win a championship one year with Dirk Nowitzki. But overall, Mark Cuban, I don't know, man. I did appreciate you accepting Dogecoin for a while on your merchandise. Comment below if you guys know if Mark Cuban's still accepting or promoting Dogecoin as he once did when Elon Musk was promoting it. Overall, do not get a loan instead of a credit card. That's my advice. Of course, check with the proper advisors. However, I would never do it. I don't think it's beneficial. I don't think it's necessary. And at the same time, I think you are going to be in trouble if you are pulling out personal loans to cover things that you can't afford anyway. It's like solving a problem with another problem. Don't do it. Do not use your debit card because you're giving away all these opportunities for travel points, for credit card points, for all the amenities and benefits that you get from these credit cards. And there are so many. One of my favorite credit cards, and I've done the review on the channel, is the American Express Platinum. Go ahead, take a look at that review on my channel. But that card, you get lounge access. You get great points. For example, I booked so many flights for personal reasons on my Amex Platinum points where it becomes a free flight. I could travel business class. Right now, I'm holding over 1.4 million American Express points, and I'm getting ready to book some more travel as things open up and as my schedule becomes a little more available. I would not be able to do that using debit card points because debit cards generally do not offer incentives or perks. And that's something banks should potentially start getting into. Wouldn't it be cool if a bank, say JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, B of A, or any of the other boutique banks offer a debit card with points? Now, comment below. They may already do offer such a thing, or maybe a cashback, but I'm really looking for some type of programs that would compete from a bank level like American Express. And obviously Amex also has their own banking as well. But I want to see if another bank has something very similar that's not technically a credit card, but is a debit card and gives you incentives and points without these crazy interest rates or fees that Mark Cuban also mentioned with Dave Ramsey. So there you have it. Mark Cuban, I think you're out of control. I don't think credit cards are that bad if you know how to use them. That's very similar to saying cars are bad because there are bad drivers. The list goes on and on. Everything you do in life has to be protected or well thought through, whether you're, preparing for, I was going to say something naughty, but I'm not going to do it. You got to use protection. Okay. So anything you do, protect yourself. Don't overspend. Don't buy something that you don't need. and then you'll be safe and you'll be fine. So comment below if you think credit cards are the enemy, if credit cards are evil, or if credit cards are just a great financial tool to help the creditors understand that you are a responsible buyer and spender and something that you thrive over or something that you enjoy the benefit of. Because if there was no credit cards, I think life would be a little more boring. If you agree with me, comment below. If you like this video, give me a like. It's free. I'll check you guys here in the next video. And Mark Cuban, what the hell? I don't get it. Anyway, see you guys next time. Personal.